Hello everyone, welcome back to another gardening video. This is Monique and this is Home and Gardening with Monique. So I'm glad you all tuned back in to hang out with me in the garden. And as usual, I'm going to get right to work. I got to harvest some collard greens, and I also going to show you the update on the sweet potato slips that I planted a couple of weeks back. And we'll see what else we'll get into, so stay tuned. Alright, so these are the sweet potato slips, the Beauregard sweet potato slips that I planted a couple of weeks ago. And if you guys seen that video, at the time when I planted the sweet potatoes, I planted them with the soil being kind of like at the length of where the potato slips were. So so the soil in here is pretty low, and as I stated in my last video, I said that as the vines grow out of the buckets or out of the containers, then I will add in more soil so that it will give my potato vines, when they get ready to make their tubers, their potato tubers, some room to grow inside of these containers. So we're going to do that. And this is my overgrown collard green bed here, and as you can see, you see some of my collard greens from the fall that has been in here since last year. And these are the ones that have went up to seed or going up to seed, and these are some of the new ones that I planted back in March, I believe. And I haven't checked on this bed in a little while, so I'm going to harvest what I can and pull up the collard greens that were from the fall. And I want to plant some other things in that place. I'm also gonna pull up my kale as well, because the kale, along with the collard greens that you see here, that's going up to seed, they were all planted around the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of that pulled up and harvest some of the collard greens. And I also think I have to maybe fix up or heal the rows back up, because we have had a couple of rainy days, and I'm just gonna get these rows healed back up and maybe hit them up with a little fish emulsion as well. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys down and get started, and we'll see what else we'll get into. So I harvest all of the greens that went for seed. So I'm just gonna pick all the leaves off and add them into the other pile. I still have some more that I have to harvest out of the garden as well. But this is what I have so far. So today is very pleasant. Today it's about 80 degrees and it's sunny. So it's a little hot today. And I gotta make sure I check these for spiders and worms. Yep, these ran their course, so if I chose to, yeah, I could have left them in, but I got other things that I want to plant in those places, so I just want to go ahead and, you know, just harvest them and get them up. How do y'all like y'all collard greens? Some people cook theirs with sausage, bacon, a little bit of fat back. I cook mine with smoked leg bones or smoked turkey meat. And I'm going to this will be later on. I'm going to get these peeled, get these washed up and cut up, and just gonna put them in my deep freezer. And I have more seedlings that I planted. I'm surprised these didn't have a lot of aphids on it. I only seen a few that had aphids, so that's a good thing. Alright, so I'm gonna bring you guys back when I'm all done picking the greens off of these, and stay tuned. Alright, so I got through picking off my collards, and some of these include the ones that went up to seed, and I have all of those pulled up, and I went back out to the plot and I pulled up the kale, and these kale were planted as well in the fall, so I'm pretty sure that they could have continued on growing. But I have a lot of frozen kale that I harvested over the course of the month in my deep freezer, and I do like to you can eat kale fresh with salads, but I like to eat mine mixed in with my collard greens or whatever greens that I'm cooking or sauteing. So I freeze mine, but I have plenty of kale that's already in my deep freezer, so I didn't feel the need for them to continue to produce for me, because what I really want is some mustard greens to be put down in the garden. And mustard greens is like, it's a little tough for me to grow mustard greens, especially when I direct sow them in the ground, and then you have to deal with, you know, you have to thin them out and everything. So I direct sow some mustard green seeds on one of the rows in my garden bed that I'm harvesting the collards from, and they just didn't do great. So What I did was I started seeds, and it's been a few weeks back, but I started seeds and seed trades. And so once they get up to, maybe 2 or 3 inches, then I take them out of the seed trays individually, and I replant them or repot them in cups, and until they get to a height that I'm satisfied with planting them out individually. So I think that planting mustard greens for me is easier to plant them out individually when they're maybe about 4 or 5 inches tall. And I do the same with my collard greens too. But I never liked just direct sowing them. For me, it just never works out, and I don't feel like thinning them out, bending over and thinning out 100 little seedlings out of the ground. So I'm also going to show you guys the mustard greens that I have on the row, and compare them to the ones that I planted individually in my window box planter. So I'm going to show you guys that too. So I'm going to continue to get through harvesting all the kale. So this is the kale, and this is the whole kale plant, and I'm just taking these stems off like this. And that's pretty much it. And I'm pretty sure that these can be composted, or I just throw them to the back by the woods and just let them decompose themselves. So I remember someone asking a question about how much food do you know to plant for yourself, or the amount of people that you have in your household. And I don't have any facts on that question, but in a matter of fact way, I can say that let's just say you want to plant some collard greens. So maybe for one person, and it all depends on what you want to do with those collard greens. Are you planting enough that you can store, or are you planting enough that you want to eat each vegetable item fresh right when you pick them? So I can't answer that for anybody else, but for me, I have a family of 6, including me, and if I'm going to plant collard greens, I'm going to plant collard greens enough where I want to store them, and that way when me and my family want some collard greens, they already been washed and put in a deep freezer. So for me, I will plant about, for me, 25 to 30 collard green plants. In my opinion, if it was one person, maybe 10 collard green, 5 to 10 collard green plants, might do it for you. But I'm not for sure. It just depends on what it is, what you want to do. once you plant it and once you harvest it. Maybe with corn, now with corn you may get maybe 1 or 2 ears per stalk. So you may have to plant a little bit more corn if you love corn. Me, family 6, how many corn stalks would I want to plant? For me, I would say between 30 and 50. And as I stated before, that's because I like to plant enough where I can store and I can have enough to come back to for another time or whenever I want corn. And also, if I want to succession plant, I can have corn to eat on while I have more corn growing. So that would be my opinion on how much food that you should grow. And maybe it's just some factors that you have to consider, and before you start planting food. And for me, I always plant food that me and my family eat. I'm not just out here planting stuff just to be planting stuff and just for fun. I'm actually growing food for me and my family, so I can store it, so I can can it. Kind of save me a couple of bucks out of the grocery store. So that's my reason. So I guess if it's anyone else, you just have to know what your reasons are. Are you doing it for fun, or are you doing it to like really grow food, store it, and just have something to turn back on? So I guess that'll be my opinions for me, why I'm doing it and how much I will plant of each plant. So that's that. So I want to go ahead and I have a few more kale plants to pull up and get those picked, and I'm going to straighten up my garden rows and maybe hit up the rest of my collard green plants and cabbages with some fish emulsion. So I hope you guys stay tuned, and I'll be right back. I have the rows built back up. So these little branch stick things that you see here, those are the collard greens. So they will come back with more leaves. And on this row, it's only 2 cabbage plants, and it's empty up here. And this is a row right here. So this row right here is empty as well. And of course I got my cabbages, some more cabbages on the row behind it. And this is what I was mentioning earlier about when I direct sow mustard green seeds. This is how they look, and they look like this all the time when I direct sow them. There was well, last year when I planted them in a garden bed, you know, they grew up okay, but they didn't grow very big, and I want mine to grow tall, healthy, and big. So I'm gonna pull those up and, you know, just maybe replant some individually. So I just want to show you guys a comparison. So these are mustard greens that I planted in these planters here, and as you can see, they are coming along very well. This one right here I just planted this morning because the one I originally had planted there wasn't doing so well. And this is a few more. So I'm debating whether or not I want to plant these mustard greens in a planter or plant them in the ground. I'm not for sure yet, but I might do both. I have some grow bags, so I think I want to also grow some in some grow bags and also in my back garden bed as well. So as soon as my mustard green seedlings are big enough, which is, I think they are big enough. I had just repotted them, but I want to give them maybe a few more weeks before I plant them out. But I will be planting them in the empty rows in this garden bed. Well, I have some good news. So these are the overwintered peppers. These are the jalapeno peppers that I overwintered, and they are growing fruit. And this one already has 2 nice jalapenos, so kind of happy about that. This one is also has grown a jalapeno too. So I'm just waiting on the rest of them to catch up. And these are my Tabasco peppers. They also have gotten bigger. These two, I forgot what these two are, but I'm pretty sure, you know, once it get ready to bloom or grow out, I'll know what kind of pepper it is. And inside of this garden bed, I was worried about these peppers maybe like 2 weeks ago. I'm not for sure with the last video I did when I fertilized with fish emulsion, but whatever video that was, this when I came out here and I fertilized these peppers, because they were starting to turn a little yellow, and once I hit them up with a little bit of nitrogen, you know, their colors and everything came back. So I think I'm going to hit them up again with a little bit of nitrogen, and also loosen up the soil around the stems and everything so that the nitrogen can get down to the roots. But that won't be today, but it will be soon. I wanted to show you guys that these will be the next potatoes that I will be planting. So these are russet. I also saw in my onion bed that these onions, like the stems were just, you know, like just laid over. From my understanding, when you see the onion stems are like just kind of laid over, and like this right here is kind of soft and laying over, it indicates sometimes that the onion may have grown all that it's going to grow, and that it's time to go ahead and pull the onion up. And I you know, kind of hate that happened. You know, I'm not for sure, you know, why they, you know, may have got stunted or just couldn't grow anymore. But I'm hoping that the rest of the onions continue to grow and get much bigger than this. But they are, you know, just some little onions that that I'll be able to use. So I'm just gonna have these on my table on my back porch out here to continue to dry out. You're supposed to let onions dry out for about 2 weeks, and I'll be able to use them. So I had a thought when I was mentioning about planting some mustard greens. So these I planted in these stackables a few weeks back, maybe about 2 weeks back, and this is actually the size, the transplant size that I want the mustard greens to get to before I plant them out. But I was thinking that maybe I should take these out of these stackable planters and plant them in my garden bed just to see how well that they would do. So now it's time for me to add in some extra soil to go on top of the sweet potato vines, because the soil level is a little low. But I was just allowing the vines to grow up out of the containers enough for me to go ahead and add it. So alright, so that's that one. I have the sweet potato vines filled with soil, and I ran out of soil, so I may have to maybe get another bag of soil to, you know, just fill in at the top. But for the time being, this is okay until I'm able to do that, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And also, okay, so I was able to go ahead and plant in a couple of my mustard green transplants. And I'm really hoping that they kick off and that they would do just fine in this plot here. And on this back row, the ones that I direct sow, I'm hoping that I'm waiting on my other mustard green starts to you know, to get up to a certain height before I plant them out. And I will dig all of these up and replant. So Well, you guys, let's complete this video. And I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today in the garden. And I hope you guys return back again soon for another video. You guys have a very blessed and great day. And I will see you guys on the next video.